The summer wind carried dust across the scrubland, painting the sky in a haze of red and gold as the sun dipped behind the Sierra Mesa. The town of Whispering Ridge, a lonely outpost on the edge of Arizona territory, was little more than a church, a saloon, a sheriff's office, and a scattering of homesteads, and yet it was the heart of every soul who dared call it home. One of those souls was Elijah Rourke, 15 years old and fast becoming the man his late father had hoped he'd be. He was small, wiry, and quick-witted, raised on kindness and calluses. His mother kept their modest ranch going after his father's death, and every week Elijah rode into town with eggs and cheese to trade at the general store. That evening, Elijah heard something strange on his way back, a whimper barely audible over the wind. He followed it off the trail, down by the riverbend where no one ever camped for long. There she was, an Apache girl, no older than himself, lying motionless beneath a crooked cottonwood tree. Her lips were cracked, her skin scorched by the sun, and her right leg was twisted and blooded from an obvious break. She couldn't even speak. Elijah dismounted, knelt beside her, and didn't hesitate. He tugged the blanket from his saddle and wrapped it around her. Then he gave her the last of his water and lifted her carefully onto his horse. He knew what he was risking. The town feared the Apache, and the Apache feared the white man. But Elijah didn't see an enemy. He saw someone dying. Chapter 2, A Town on Edge. Sheriff Sam Hollander was waiting outside the saloon when Elijah rode into town with a girl slumped against him. "You lost your damn mind, boy," the sheriff barked, spitting into the dust. "She's Apache." "She's dying," Elijah snapped back. "And she's just a girl." Townsfolk gathered, murmuring and muttering. Someone said she might be a scout for a raid. Another cursed it under their breath. The tension swelled like a summer storm. But Miss Abigail Thomas, the widow who ran the church infirmary, stepped forward and laid a firm hand on Elijah's shoulder. "Bring her inside." The sheriff hesitated. "If this town burns to your bleeding heart, don't say I didn't warn you." But Elijah wouldn't apologize. He watched as Abigail and her assistant cleaned the girl's wounds and set her leg. The girl never said a word. Only her eyes spoke, dark pools of pain and confusion, but not hate. That night, Elijah sat beside her, his mother's old Bible open in his lap. "My name's Elijah," he said softly. "I don't know if you understand me, but you're safe now." She blinked slowly and whispered just one word, "Waya." It meant wolf. Chapter 3, Fire and Feathers. The town went on high alert. Men with rifles patrolled the streets, and rumors spread like wildfire. Someone spotted smoke on the ridge. Someone else found broken arrows near the water tower. 3 days after Elijah brought Waya in, a scout galloped into town pale-faced and gasping. "Warriors," he panted. 700 Apache, riding in fast. Panic struck Whispering Ridge. Families packed what they could. Some ran. Others barricaded themselves inside homes. Sheriff Hollander organized a defensive line. "We'll hold them off," he declared. "We may be outnumbered, but we won't go quiet." But Abigail Thomas stepped forward. "There may be another way." She turned to Elijah. "Take her to them. Maybe she can stop this." "No," the sheriff protested. "You'll lead them right to us." But Elijah already knew what he had to do. That night, under a crescent moon, he rode with Waya propped against him toward the rising smoke. Chapter 4, The Standoff. At sunrise, Elijah reached the ridge, and his breath caught. Hundreds of Apache warriors, their horses bristling with feathers and paint, waited in perfect silence. At their front stood Chief Tahoma, tall, broad, with a stone-like gaze and silver at his temples. Elijah slid off his horse, legs trembling. "I found her," he said, voice cracking. "She was dying. I gave her my blanket, my water. Please, don't kill the town. They are scared, that's all." The chief said nothing. Then Waya stirred and opened her mouth. For the first time, Elijah heard her speak her language, soft, melodic, urgent. When she finished, the chief nodded solemnly. Then he stepped forward, removed a beaded necklace from his throat, and placed it around Elijah's neck. "You are friend to the wolf," he said, "and friend to the people. There will be no war." The warriors turned as one and disappeared into the mist like ghosts. Chapter 5. Years Gone By. Whispering Ridge never forgot what Elijah did that day. The townsfolk learned that fear can twist the heart, but courage can untwist it. Elijah grew up tall and strong, inheriting the land his father once worked. His kindness became legend, but it was his loyalty that made him loved. Waya stayed. Though her leg never fully healed, she learned English quickly. The town took time to accept her, but they did. She taught children stories of a people and became a bridge between two worlds. Abigail took her under her wing, and Waya blossomed, graceful, witty, and wise. When Elijah turned 23, he asked Waya to walk with him under the cottonwoods where they'd first met. "I thought I was saving you," he said, "but you saved me too." She smiled gently. Then we saved each other. They kissed beneath that same crooked tree. Chapter 6. Redemption Rides. But peace never sits still in the West. A gang of outlaws known as the Blood Rock Riders rolled into town a year later, led by Calder Nash, a man with dead eyes and a voice like broken glass. They came for money, guns, and women. Sheriff Hollander, now gray and weary, called on Elijah. "You've got the ear of the Apache. You're the only one who can stop this from becoming a bloodbath." Elijah nodded grimly. "I'll go." He rode out that night and returned with 20 Apache scouts, led by Waya's brother, Seda, a fierce warrior with no love for white men except Elijah. When Nash and his gang returned, they were surrounded. Shots rang out. The Apache, moving like shadows, picked off the outlaws before they could even reload. Calder Nash tried to run, but Elijah rode him down and knocked him clean off his horse. "Some things," Elijah growled, "ain't forgiven." The town was safe. Again. Chapter 7. The Blanket Never Fades. Years passed. Children grew. The church bell rang more often for weddings and funerals. Elijah and Waya married in a ceremony that combined both cultures, Apache drums and white roses, feathers in her hair and leather at his shoulders. They ran the ranch together, had 2 children, and every year, on the day he found her, Elijah returned to that crooked tree and laid down a fresh blanket, just like the first. Not out of regret, but out of remembrance. Of the moment love was born from courage, of the moment fear gave way to redemption, and of the truth that in a land of dust, danger, and doubt, even one act of kindness could change the course of history.